Okay, well, you got a long drive if you want to join our club. Welcome. Any other guests today? We do have a guest speaker, Robert, and he'll be talking with us after we have some lunch about the Chamber of Commerce and the changes that happened there, but also what's going on in the area regarding the chamber. So I'm not going to stand in anybody's way. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get out of the way so I don't get trampled to death. And I'm going to ask our guests to please come up front first and enjoy some lunch, followed by the ladies of the Rotary group. And after we get to the seating, we'll do the program.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Mark's not going to be here.
Okay. See you online now?
Yeah, he's on.
Okay. Well, we'll make the announcement anyway. The next
It's
time
up to you, yeah. Just wanted you to know. Yeah, Chip's here.
Good, how are you? I wanted to get together and about music.
You got their white shirt on, kind of white print.
Not you, Chip. Have you met him before?
Well, just one person. Okay. Yeah, okay. He's the one that's right behind the speaker, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, you connected?
We're Zooming, but I can't get the, you know, I don't think the TV is on Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi was down. I had to go get Mark. I got it up here.
What are you streaming through?
No, I'm on Wi-Fi now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
maybe the television isn't, and that's what I'm
Do
gonna
you
work
want me
on.
to unplug it so it resets?
Yeah, let's do that. Won't hurt. Yeah, I'm gonna go to settings and see if
Thank you.
Paul is his real name.
Did you recover from the baseball game?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We went to the Norfolk Tides game. That was a good time. I don't think I like Michael ball more than Major League ball.
I don't know, she was at the ball game Sunday.
I know, but she was saying she was going somewhere.
She might have left,
Hawaii or France.
She was, but I'm not sure when.
Yeah, and sit there in the kitchen.
See, you kept that a secret.
Oh.
Sorry. I knew that you could, but I have the number, you can call in and reserve it. And enjoy watching movies.
I'm sure they're fine. The entire time.
And don't try to feed on some of the floor. There you go.
She was ejecting from your camera.
Yes, when it's connected, but I can't get it connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, I think that was a trick.
Looks like it's trying to connect.
Yeah, it's
Good.
it's it's the little dots are going.
Oh, good. Oh, hope for the best.
How you doing?
Not that we need it.
I'm good, thank you, and you? Fine, thank
Good to see you, looking good.
It couldn't connect. I said it couldn't connect. I don't think the, Jackie, I don't think the, oh, it's connected, it's connected.
Who's on Zoom?
What does that mean when it connects?
It's connected now, but there's a thing in front of it I want to get rid of. Ah, there you
So it
go.
means everybody will be able to see Mark and I?
Everybody sees you now. Get on real live.
Well, probably today the picture's a better choice.
Yeah. Jim Rich gets the credit. Three. No, yeah, two.
Yeah, Jim Rich can do it. He's like a webmaster.
Well, I can't get rid of all these little picture things.
Jane of all three.
The Wi-Fi guy.
Maybe that will do it.
I gave Ken a little bag of something for the two of you
Okay.
for your willingness to help us with the airport activity.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
let
yeah.
him eat all of it. all right?
I know a little bit about it.
Oh, yeah.
So you're leaving at the end of this week to go
But I
up to,
played it off.
What's that?
going to your niece's memorial service this weekend?
You might as well, because they're
Station plus 7. This is 7 hours of work. So, I think that might be the highest in our club.
No,
No? Okay.
Stram,
Okay, Bill Stram.
and I'm right behind him.
All right.
Yeah. I
So,
have nine.
I remember, I believe it was just in August when we
Hi,
had the
Mark.
Central Park meeting that we gave Dr. Clark his Paul Harris +6 award.
Mark's
Yeah.
on now.
Okay. So, Dr. Clark, congratulations. Next time you're able to make the meeting, we'll do a presentation of the pin for you. So congratulations. And wow, that's, I gotta say, +7, that's pretty incredible. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, the other thing I just heard today, and Dolores, I don't want to say this wrong, but I believe you have accepted the position for secretary to work with Randy to,
I said I'd give it a try.
okay. All right. Thank you very much. And again, Dolores is a new member. She's stepping right up. It's good to see new members do this. We're trying to get the ladies more involved on the board as well, so that's also great news. So thank you, Dolores. The other announcement, we've already done this, but Jackie is going to be working with Paul this year as sort of co-treasurer.
Paul's working with me.
There you go. See, I had it wrong after all. All right, but that transition will happen. Paul will be working with Jackie throughout the year. And then next year, Jackie will, I'm sure, be more than capable of taking over and then some.
Everything will run smoothly.
There you go. And thank you, Jackie, for that. All right, the other thing, Sunday, we all went to the ball game. And we had a good time out there. What was it we had, Bill? 7 people from the club?
I don't know.
All right,
I think more than that.
might have been 8. I think we ended up with 2 tickets left over for people who couldn't make it. And I think it was originally 11, so maybe 9 people made it. So we had a good time out there. I think actually our club had more people than any of the others, didn't they, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a good game. Unfortunately, the Tides lost, but. we
Great
still had a
game.
good time. Yeah, it was nice weather, a little hot, but once the shade came over on us, it was very pleasant. We had a good time. The other thing is, I was looking for a sign up for working parking duties at the Barrier Island Center on May the 28th. I understand it is a holiday weekend. People got family and their travel plans and so forth. But right now, what we have is Walter Childs, Diane, and myself are for sure. Bill Murphy, maybe. So we have 3 yeses and maybe 1 other. I've got to hand this in today. I got to notify them how many people are going to be able to help them out with parking. So if you think on that day, you won't have to stay till 4. So I would say it's going to be more like 10 to maybe noon that will be needed. They won't need us to help them get out of the parking lot. People can get out by themselves. So if you have an interest, you want to work with us a little bit on that day from about 10 in the morning until noon, let me know and I'll put you on the sign up sheet. I mentioned last week about, and I'm sure we've all been seeing it on the news, the baby formula situation. So if you have any ideas of organizations on the shore here that I can contact, let me know, send me an email with the contact information and I'll call them or email them. See if there's anything we can do monetarily or voluntarily to help with the situation.
Well, Chuck, I
yeah.
now remember, yes, I did say I have contacted you. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
Refreshing my memory.
Okay. Yeah, shoot that to me when you're able and I'll contact you. So this is not going to go away quickly. So if a week from now, 2 weeks from now, you think of something or you come by something on the shore here, hey, that's something we could help out with. Let's help out the new mothers and of course the new babies too. So let me know, shoot me an email, tell me it's one of the meetings or you can call me. Jim Rich, I'm going to ask you to start scheduling the bios of our new members at some point. So within the schedules, work with your scheduling crew to put in our new members and their bios. And typically for new members, we give you like 15 minutes to tell us all about yourself and your life story and how you came here to the shore and so forth. So it doesn't have to be a big formal speech, but you know, Jim will work with you or somebody on his team. And we'll get you in on a day to give us all the details of your life. For other future speakers, I mean, we're really filling up our calendar now, so that's the group that's been doing that has been doing a great job. But if you do have ideas for future speakers, let Jim know, and at some point after the transition, Al will pick it up. Al Pasha will pick it up and you can let him know. But there'll still be a group who's scheduling.
Absolutely. I'll schedule the bio. But
Okay.
Al has been good enough to take over the speakers committee already.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, we're getting up close to that point now. So one other thing, more for the board of directors meeting. Paul's going to be out of town for the next board of directors meeting. So we're going to push that out 1 week. So instead of the second Tuesday of June, it'll be the third Tuesday. So Paul will be available. It's going to be important to have Paul give us the end of fiscal year financials and so forth, and some information on budgeting for the next fiscal year, which starts on July 1. So I think it's important that Paul be there, and we don't want to have the meeting the second Tuesday and Paul not be there. Okay with you,
It would be a
Paul?
non-meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So that's compliments of the board of directors. Let's see. All right. How about some happy dollars? Anybody got some happy dollars? Go ahead, Ken.
I've got my mouth up. Go ahead. Well, I got $10, $5 each for the 2 years I wasn't able to see my brother due to COVID, and the year, have a good time.
All right. Thank you.
I have $20. Yeah.
All right.
My wife, it's her birthday today.
Whoa!
Giving 5 to Bill for driving me to the ball game.
You're giving me 5.
Yeah. And 5 for the putting together. I guess it was Bill's friend.
Yeah.
$20.
By the way, thank you, Bill, and thank Bill Stram. Bill Stram's actually over in Richmond today with the Main Street organization, a big meeting over there. But Bill Stram and Bill Payne both drove to and from the groups to the ballpark. So we really thank you and appreciate that.
Good game and the seats were great.
The only problem, Ken, is we had Stanley in the car.
There was no refreshments in the car. What is that? How do you take a trip with no refreshments?
I mean, Stan's the fun guy.
Stanley and I were gonna take.
Well, we had fun. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we almost took a ferry.
We're waiting to park lot for Phil to pick us up. We're talking, the ferry's going back and forth. So we said,
There was a
let's
ferry.
go over it. It's only $1 for seniors.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, before the Bay Bridge Tunnel, you know how long a trip that was to go back and forth?
Yes.
Well, 4 hours one way.
No.
Yeah. So round trip.
You're making that up, Chuck. He knows.
A little less than 4 hours round trip. Was like an hour,
Okay.
45 minutes.
Well, I can tell you with the railroad barge, because I made that trip, taking care of the radios back in the 70s. It was 4 hours one way.
On a barge.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, they were pulled by tugboats.
Mm.
The barge was pulled by a tugboat. So it's a little quicker going by way of the Bay Bridge Tunnel. All right, and any more happy dollars? Bill Payne?
Yes, I was sitting here very happy, but I couldn't figure out why. And
Because I'm at a different table.
this was gonna be a $5, now it's a 10. But the $5 is because Dolores was 39 today.
That's right.
39 again.
And the other 5 is because Jackie's over there.
There you go. So that's a 10 right there. Any other happy dollars? Go ahead, Brad.
Time for the game. It was fun. It was my first one hanging out with you guys at the ball game. And I hadn't had any connection with the Tides since 1967.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know they were around.
Well, I believe they were. They may have come after that, but that's essentially when I left the area. So
Yeah.
How happy were you, Richie?
$5 worth.
Reggie, I'll have to get with either you or Tom and get a little history on the ball field over here in Cape Charles. Used to be back in the, I think, 60s and earlier, the whole eastern shore, Delmarva Peninsula, with really big minor league baseball and semi-pro baseball leagues. I know that Salisbury and Easton and a couple other Maryland Eastern Shore. So I can.
I love it when I came down here, I see these dugouts with corn or stuff. This is the opposite of Fields of Dreams.
Yeah.
You come here and you don't come to a ball game, you come to agriculture.
Yeah, you come to watch cotton and corn grow in the old ball field.
They were active through the late 80s and early 90s. When they were still using those.
Really? Wow.
You don't have the kids anymore. You had the kids and that's basically dried up pretty well. Moved up to Nassau next move.
Yeah. But somebody needs to write a book about the old ball teams here on the shore. Okay. Any other happy dollars? Go ahead, Alan.
$5. I'm just glad to be back. We were on a 2 weeks cruise and whatnot, but the multiple checkpoints, 2 PCR tests, both of Senior and I passed negative in both cases. Never been tested before, so I wasn't too sure I was going to even go. But at any rate, came and back, and glad to be back here in one piece.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I have one recommendation for anybody who has some mobility issues, which is going to be the case with me. Making a change in JFK between 2 international flights, like American and the British Airways. I passed my boarding pass to the guy who was taking care of my wheelchair. And he was saying, "Oh, that's in another building. It'll take 35 minutes to get there." After 35 minutes, well, after we'd gone on how many trams, subways, lifts, and so forth and so on. It was a good 35 minutes before we got there. I laid out coming and going probably $50 in tips just to get me there. But JFK, the only way to go is with a wheelchair.
Yeah, these days it's just not pleasant.
It's not, traveling isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Not happened to traveling, it happened to you all.
Oh, dang it.
That was cruel, Jack.
I use a wheelchair.
Yeah, I went to Chicago last year and I said, no, that's it until all this crazy stuff is over with. Okay, any other happy dollars? All right, well, we have a gentleman. He's the one younger guy here in the crowd. And his name is Robert Sabatini, and he's with the Eastern Shore of Virginia. He's the director and with the Chamber of Commerce. And I think Alan, you may know Robert. Alan
Robbie
worked with the
Marsh.
Chamber for a
That's
while.
not right.
No, as a predecessor.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
okay.
But he's going to speak with us today and tell us about all the new changes going on. I think there's been a change with the chamber itself, the organization. So we'll hear all about that.
Yeah.
If you have a good loud voice, you may not want to use this, but
I can, however y'all.
I hear you fine.
You're fine.
I hear you fine, Robert.
You good? Oh, yeah, they say okay. Well, first off, let me say thank you to everyone for inviting me to come speak with y'all today. Always happy to do that and meet new faces and get in front of folks. So again, thank you for inviting me. I truly do appreciate that. Again, my name's Robert Sabatini. I'm the executive director for the Eastern Shore Virginia Chamber of Commerce and the Tourism Commission. So it's a dual role there. Just a little bit of background from me. I grew up in Southwest Virginia, little town called Jonesville, Virginia, right where the Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee state lines meet. So Appalachia. Very similar to this area, very rural. The town I grew up in had one stoplight. That was it. Good, hardworking folks there. You know, the industry was coal mine, tobacco, and cattle. And those folks worked hard, and I see a lot of parallels with the people here on the Eastern Shore and the folks there in Southwest Virginia. So my wife, same, she grew up in Northeast Tennessee. We actually grew up 45 miles away and didn't know one another. But this place feels like home, and we're happy to call that home. I call this place home. I have two children, Henry, he's 11 years old, and a daughter, June, she's 8 years old. And we're absolutely thrilled to be here. A little bit more on my background. Coming out of college, I got into the higher education realm, particularly in the student affairs. Also did some teaching as well. Most recent stint before I got here full time was at Hampton-Sydney College in Farmville, Virginia, and I served as the dean of students there. And that was for 7 years. So that's a little bit of my background up until this point. So what got me over here? A lot of folks ask me that. My family and I started vacationing over here in the summer of 2017, and it was one of those. We came across the bridge, and my wife and I both looked at one another and said, "This is where we're supposed to be." So we ended up purchasing a home here in Machipongo in September of 2017, and would come here anytime we could during breaks, holidays, and we would spend it here on the shore. So we made the decision, we've got to get over there full time. The chamber tourism position opened up. I threw my hat in, and here I am. I've been here now a full year, and got here in April of 2021 of last year. So it's been great. Great year, I think, and I'll give you some updates on the chamber side and the tourism side. I won't go through all of them, because I do think we've had a pretty good run this past year. On the chamber side, we were able to purchase the building in Melfa, Virginia, back. The chamber had sold it about 12 years ago, and we were
recently got back into a position financially that we could purchase it back, which is great news, I think, for the chamber and really a home for us there as well. Another highlight, I'm sure many of you have heard or know, the Northampton County Chamber of Commerce. We merged with them recently, and I think that has been really successful in that there are two events that we're going to pick up, and they really impact Northampton County. I'm really excited about these two events, and we're bringing both of them back. But the first one is the Agricultural Fair, and I'm sure many of y'all are familiar with that. That's scheduled for October 8th of this year at the old Machipongo Middle School. We've already hit the ground running, planning for that. Really couldn't be more thrilled, not only to give our families the opportunity to learn more about farming and agriculture and aquaculture. I think is another very important aspect we've got to highlight here on the shore. But I want to make sure that we highlight and really give recognition to our farmers. I don't think they get the recognition that they probably deserve in the country, because they really are the backbone and it keeps things going, food on the table. It's really something important, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of that with the chamber and to recognize those folks. The other event, the new event that the Eastern Shore Chamber will be picking up will actually be right here in Cape Charles with the Bay Creek Christmas Home Store. So maybe that if you want to heard, we're bringing that back as well. Can't miss a good ride on a nice day. Yeah. I used to ride, but no more. No more. You have children, that changes things. So that's a few of the updates on the chamber side. Our membership has increased significantly since last July. We've got over 70 new members that have joined the chamber. I've really tried to make it a point to get out all over the shore, meet with folks, meet with our businesses, hear what their concerns are. And I'll share a few of those concerns and challenges with you here in a little bit. I want to touch on those and some of the things that we've been doing there. But it's been great. It really has. And that's been both counties. I've made a point to get out there. I wish there was more time in a day that I could do it more, get out and meet with folks, but I make it a point every week to do so. On the tourism side, I think the entire Eastern Shore had a great year with respect to tourism and folks coming here on the shore. And I think this one, given some of the challenges that I'll discuss with you, and I'm sure running through y'all's minds already occurring, I still think we're going to have a lot of folks come here to the Eastern Shore and be patrons here in our towns and businesses. So all the data, all the statistics line up for that. So that is promising. Now that does give me a sense of relief, and I hope it does for you all as well. We recently, from the tourism side, we brought back, well, it had not occurred in a few years, but we had our tourism summit in February. I don't know if any of y'all attended or had the opportunity to attend, but that was at the community college. And we had a great turnout of folks, and I think really it was a very vibrant day, and we had some excellent speakers. And I think the individuals, the guests that attended, really left there feeling good, feeling motivated about the upcoming tourist season. And that's what we want to make sure of. We're always a resource for any of the businesses that are here on the shore. We want to make sure folks know that, and if they have an issue, they have a place to come to if they're a member. So that's a 37,000 foot view of a few of the things that we've accomplished. We've got a few more things that are going to be happening on both sides. I look forward to that. Spoke to you briefly about the challenges, concerns I think that we face here on the Eastern Shore, and this is not just an Eastern Shore issues, but really the whole country. when I chat with these businesses, I hear housing, I hear workforce concerns, I hear inflation, I hear gasoline prices. Are folks going to travel if gasoline's at $4.50 a gallon? I'm hearing all of that, as I'm sure y'all are, and probably many other things as well. But those are the main ones that I've been hearing since I've been out, really this last year. I think we've taken steps. I know both counties are taking steps to address some of these things. The work, especially on the housing side, the workforce issues. If you look back, and here's my view on it as far as the workforce side of things go. If you look back at the recession in 2008, and we had workforce issues at that point, right? It took about 7 years to 2014, 2015 before the workforce got back to the way it was before the recession. Now, COVID's different. COVID changed people's mindsets. It's a little different. And I try to be realistic when it comes to things. Could it take 7 years before the workforce rebounds and we actually see that? I'm thinking most likely. I'm thinking most likely. I know that's not good news, but I think that's a reality that business owners have got to start getting in our minds. And it has taken us out of our comfort zone, wearing multiple hats, putting on more hats to handle these sort of things. But I think that's going to be the reality. I do think we're going to certainly advocate to our local elected officials, the boards of supervisors, Congresswoman Luria, Delegate Bloxham, Senator Lewis, Governor Youngkin. We will continue to advocate for our businesses, but that's kind of my thought on the workforce. Same thing with the inflation and gasoline prices, although those things are going up. From all the data that I've reviewed, it looks like we're still going to have a great year here on the Eastern Shore, which again is very promising in my eyes. Yes, sir.
One thing on that before I forget, one of the announcements I heard, proposals from the governor's offices for the summer months to eliminate the gasoline tax and the sales tax on food.
Mm-hmm.
How realistic is that happening? Do you have a feel for that?
Yeah, so following that, I know that is a topic that's being brought up right now. I know there's, it's got to be bipartisan right now in Virginia, and I'm hoping a compromise of some sort will be worked out, because I think any sort of relief that citizens can get is so very much needed right now. But they've also got to make sure that they've got what they need as well. So I'm hoping a compromise. I mean, we obviously need it right now. That's what we're stressing. We've got to find a compromise. Any sort of relief has got to happen.
Thanks.
Good question. Very good question. I'll take a pause right there. Are there questions right now? Yes, sir.
I heard you were interested in opening a welcome center at your facility.
Yes.
Is that viable, or what's the status of that thinking?
Great question. So I mentioned that we had purchased the Chamber of Commerce there in Melfa. Strategically, where both boards, the Tourism Commission Board and the Chamber of Commerce Board, are looking, strategically, it makes sense to have a visitor center in the middle of the shore. Of course, there's one in New Church, there's one down here at the bridge. So strategically, having one there in the middle makes perfect sense. We're currently exploring grants opportunities to upgrade the chamber. It's a beautiful building. It's got federal architecture. If you know much about that, it's really just a gem of a building, but it needs some work. It needs some work. I think as long as we have the boards in place and myself, we're going to remain committed to doing that. And I do believe it'll happen. And I think it would be a real positive for the middle shore.
I agree. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It happened a while back for a couple of years also. It was on Saturdays or whatever, if I'm not mistaken.
It did. We're looking to open it up wide open.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Due to the area, where is it located in Milford?
Melfa, so you know where the industrial park is,
Yeah.
at the airport, right there on the left.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
What DD, oh, you mean the building that before you turn the light there?
That's it, correct. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
What data do you track and what trends are you seeing? Tourism data do you track? And what trends are you seeing in it?
With respect to tourism,
Yep, specifically, what gives you hope?
well, I had a lot of conversation with the folks at the Virginia Tourism Corporation, which is the overarching group here in Virginia that handles tourism. They give us a lot of data as to what the hotels, the restaurants are seeing. Go ahead if you guys.
Oh, no,
That's okay.
no. I don't know who left this on.
That's right.
Oh.
If you got
It looks like your phone though, Jack.
That's a $5 charge.
If you gotta take it, go ahead.
Should want it now.
We get a lot of data from the restaurants, lodging and associations. So right now I can tell you that the Eastern Shore, compared to the rest of the Commonwealth of Virginia, has recovered at a better rate than anywhere else. Yes, that does give me hope, although let's see another data point. Let's see another data point. And then we've got a trend, right? Yes. So if you, I enjoy statistics. It sounds like you do as well. That's what makes a trend. So we need to see that this summer. I think we will. I think folks traveling here, vacationing, it will be more of a regional vacation because of gasoline prices. I think there'll be some of that, folks coming, let's say, from New York to vacation here. Yes, that will happen, but I don't think folks from Central Virginia are going to travel down to Myrtle Beach. They're going to come closer.
Yeah.
That's, again, that's what I think is going to happen. Folks that I'm talking to, the friends that I know that I have in Central Virginia, I'm like, what are your vacation plans? We're not going to Florida this year. We just can't. We can't afford it. So we're thinking about coming over to the Eastern Shore. I'm like, well, that's great. You should vacation in Cape Charles. You should vacation in Hancock. You should vacation in Shingle. So I'm throwing all that out, and especially I grew up in Southwest Virginia. My friends, they have small children. The Bay is the perfect place if you have small children because of the waves. That group loves to go to Myrtle Beach in Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, Southeast Kentucky. They love that Myrtle Beach area, but those 5-6 foot waves just crush their children. I'm saying, come over and try the Eastern Shore. Just try it. And several of them did last year. I think that'll repeat this year. Yes, sir.
And this is just my perception. The timing is great because this area is becoming much more well-known. It's been the best kept secret forever.
Yes.
And it's really becoming much more widely known. And that's probably going to contribute to,
it is.
Yes, a greater amount of.
Excellent point. I would say the Eastern Shore has been found. The Eastern Shore has been found. Now, I hear a lot from businesses, from everyone, on what the Eastern Shore should look like.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
My take in response on that, the group sitting here, the groups in Hancock, the groups in Chincoteague, all the towns, the boards of supervisors, right now, we, and I think both counties should really come together on this, but we should look at this thing because we do have the opportunity to say, here's what we want this to look like. Because if we don't do that, then somebody else is going to come in and make that decision for us. I've seen it happen in a lot of different places.
Great point.
So I say that with respect to, all right, we've got an opportunity here. Let's make it the way we want it to make it before somebody else does.
Robert, what's that vision that you have? I mean, what should it look like? Or what should it avoid?
For the Eastern Shore, mine's a balance of it. The small businesses here, the Northampton Lumbers, the OBS, the businesses here in Cape Charles, they're the ones that support the Little Leagues. All of these initiatives, we can't lose the small business. So, but a lot of folks I hear, want the box stores here on the shore.
No, woo.
Right. So I think we're in a position to say, no, that's not who we are. Here's who we are. Here's why we can't have that. So, you know, my vision, I think, is a balance of it. It does tourism, does spur the economy, the chamber side, supporting the businesses, making sure they have a resource there. I could talk for an hour as to what that balance looks like, I think, but I won't necessarily bore you with that.
Just a follow-up, if I may.
Robert,
You mentioned.
to your point about people staying local here for the vacation plan, that was what I was getting at with eliminating the tax on gas for the summer and the food, that people who are here will tend to stay here because they're not going to pay that tax. And people close by, like Delaware, Maryland, and North Carolina, may say, hey, let's vacation up in Virginia. We're not going to pay gasoline tax or food tax. So I think that's a good draw for the economy here, not just on the Eastern Shore, but Virginia as a whole. So I'm hoping that will happen. As far as where you lived or where you grew up, was that your Bluefield then?
Further southwest.
Okay.
Yeah, Virginia is very large.
Pretty
large. It is. Good question.
You mentioned a number of organizations that would have some thoughts on what the Eastern Shore should look like. Is there any specific effort to create a group or a forum or a board or an entity that could represent all of the different communities and figure that out?
Great question, and not that I'm aware. Yeah. But anytime I'm able to get in front of a group of people, I throw that idea out. It's certainly not something that I would be opposed to taking on personally, but I think most likely there should be some overlap with the boards of supervisors in chatting, talking.
Oh, never.
It could start there. Yeah, it certainly could start there, and a committee formed to actually do that work, but no, I'm not aware of it.
The closest we come to it is a comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Which is questionable.
Yeah.
Because it seems those who shout the loudest influence it, but you are in a unique position in that you straddle both counties.
Correct.
And if you could ever get the two boards in the same room for more than a half day, you'd be moving in the right direction. And you really have an opportunity in your role.
Right.
And you can make your job what you want it to be. And push until somebody, pushes back. My recommendation.
Right. I appreciate that.
Or in spite of somebody pushing back.
Or in spite.
Yeah. Good.
We're members,
Oh, I do. don't want to push too hard. I want to stay around.
Robert, you don't have to worry. I think
Yeah,
you're
we like what we're hearing.
Good.
you're a smart guy,
Yeah.
and you're very political, so you know how to work it. But somebody has to push.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's some good pushers already around.
That's right. What else? What other questions? Anything I can do to help anyone here on the chamber or tourism side?
Just stay readily available.
Yes, call me, email me. If you need to meet with me face to face and you can't get to the chamber, let me know. I'll come to you. Certainly happy to do that.
We talked about housing being a huge problem.
Yes.
And do you have any ideas for that? Because one thing is this has become very popular town. And it's almost too popular because we can't get the people to work to help the people coming here.
Right.
So they're coming here and we're advertising and trying to bring them here. And when they get here, you know, they have a good experience, but sometimes they don't have a good experience because we just can't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem that I don't know how you see it.
I think the Northampton Board of Supervisors has a plan and they're working on to address some of those housing. What's occurred, all of the usual rentals, monthly rentals, have gone to vacation rentals. And you know, I get that, how folks want and understand why they want to do that. But there's also got to be that balance of creating, all right, if this is going to happen, we got to balance this out so that people do have a place to live. And I think it kind of goes across the board. I mean, everyone discusses low income, but I mean, our teachers, nurses, I think it's an across the board issue that we need to tackle. I think, as I mentioned, I think the Board of Supervisors have a plan. They're starting to really dig in on that. Give them some time. I'd like to see how this shakes out.
I mean, you mentioned teachers. I mean, in police gone forward.
Police, yes, yeah, right, yeah.
Well, we've had other organization leaders come in here and talk to us, and they're saying a lot of the same things.
Right.
But one of the observations I had, and you tell me whether I'm just dreaming this, I get out on these country roads away from the resort areas. I'm starting to see some of these old abandoned homes starting to be worked on and put back together again.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing that's starting to happen a little bit, that they're preparing them for others to come here and stay here and live here?
I do see that. What I don't know right now is that a long-term sort of rental, or is that being turned into an Airbnb? Is that, you know, what is the purpose of that? And I don't know yet. That's a very good question. I'm seeing the same thing.
All right.
I don't know the answer to that
And
yet.
you've got, I think both counties have got, Northampton definitely has got some tax incentives also, if you
Yes.
jump the proper hoops before
Right.
you start.
They do, especially if you get a hold of a historic property,
Yeah.
not just with county money, but there's historic tax credits
Yeah.
that people can tap into. And I mean, they're extremely helpful. We dealt with that a lot at Hampton Sydney, you know, the historic tax credits.
Okay, are there any other questions for Robert?
Thank you all again. Really enjoyed it. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with y'all.
We always appreciate you coming by today, and we want to make a gift to you, the Rotary pen.
Yeah.
And as you click the clicker, you'll see that the four-way test, which we'll do here at the end of our meeting, scrolls through our four-way test. But your organization is very valuable to us, and we want to see the shore stay the shore. We don't want big industrial buildings and factories coming here, but at the same time, we love our visitors to come here. But we want to attract mainly people like you, younger people. So we want to see the younger people. The job industry is changing a little bit where people can work from home now, the tech jobs. Yes. And financial jobs, things like that. So we want to bring those people here too. But obviously, they gotta have a place to live. So
Yeah.
we know your job's a challenge, but I think you're up to it.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your
Yes, sir.
time.
I appreciate it. We can call if y'all ever need anything.
Hey, Robert,
Yeah.
there are corporate memberships available also.
Right, yeah. Very good.
Keep us in mind.
I was gonna say I'll keep you in mind. Good job.
Okay, well, again, if you can make the Barrier Island Center parking duties for the 28th, that's a Saturday, from 10 to noonish, 10 in the morning to noonish. Let me know before you leave today. I gotta give them our list of people today. So let me know if you can make that. Other than that, why don't we all stand and we'll close up the meeting. And or white cuts. All right. And other things we think, do, and say. This is true. Two.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship?
Four.
Will it be beneficial?
And don't let us have it. Five.
Stan? Oh, will we have fun, guys?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
New bill.
Thanks very much.
Will be mounted. Just got it.
All right. Bye. Nice meeting. Bye-bye.
Come to a meeting sometime.
Stuck it right in.